Hello, my name is Katie Canellis. I am the online exhibition producer at Young V&A, and today I'm going to be talking about our first online exhibition, which was Play in the Pandemic. So Play in the Pandemic was launched on the 23rd of March, which was the second anniversary of the UK's national lockdown. Play in the Pandemic is an online exhibition that celebrates how play empowered children's resilience, well-being and creativity during the pandemic. The exhibition also showcases children's artworks, games and films from across the UK that were submitted to the Play Observatory. The Play Observatory is a research project funded by the Economic Social Research Council, and it was led by researchers from UCL's Institute of Education, the Bartlett Centre for Advanced Spatial Analysis, and the School of Education at the University of Sheffield. The research team wanted to record, and the purpose of the project was to see if or how the pandemic impacted on children's play. And to do this, they invited children and their carers to submit examples of the children's play experiences during the pandemic to an online survey. The contributions would then be catalogued and would form an archive that would sit both at University of Sheffield, UCL, and also some elements of the British Library. And these would be publicly accessible. The research and the survey launched in October 2020, and it was originally only going to be open for a year, but as pandemic continued and lockdowns continued, so did the contributions, and they finally closed in March 2022. The Young V&A were invited to partner early on with UCL and University of Sheffield to develop an online exhibition that would share this research in a more playful and engaging way. But why did they want to partner with us? Young V&A was sought out for their expertise in curation, interpretation, but also the synergetic relationship between this project and the museum's collection. You know, the focus on Generation Alpha, how they used digital and analog and traditional arts and crafts activities as their means of play. Also, it was our understanding of audiences and our previous experience with working with members of this team in playing the archive and the Festival of Play. We were asked, for us, it was a unique experience to be able to gain primary evidence of how children played during this time, but also as an opportunity to experiment. It was our first online exhibition and to reach new audiences. And for us, we turned it on its head. This time we prioritised our primary audience was professional practitioners and researchers. So those people who were already enthusiastic and knowledgeable about the value of play, who were keen to seek out information to reinforce their ideas through case studies, toolkits and opportunities to connect with a wider network, which is what this online exhibition would produce. The audience, we hoped, would then be advocates for the website and share its contents and its learning with a broader audience. And our secondary audience, which is the Young V&A's primary normal audience, is families. And the families we hope to attract to this website with those who are looking to empathise, to share their experiences of lockdown, to seek inspiration for activities, and also to have that reinforcement of the educational framework to affirm and to underline the value of children's play, as well as the support network and toolkits that we provided. An aspect of this was that, you know, tailoring it to an audience and to develop an experience that presented the data in a different way that was beyond the research project and beyond the database that UCL and University of Sheffield, was that we wanted to use museum methodology and curatorial approaches to make it engaging and dynamic. And that's why you need interpretation. You need interpretive approaches to make the material, to make the content more accessible, exciting and appealing, and to provide stronger narratives and to take the visitor on a journey to increase the dwell time to your website, but also to provide different layers of information and different learning styles to different audiences. And I was tasked with transforming the raw research data into something that was immersive, engaging, and hopefully beyond the original Excel spreadsheet and key files that we had. So when I first got the material, it was pretty rough, but there were hundreds hundreds of submissions, both from parents and from children, and the form of the contributions varied enormously. You had children producing highly sophisticated music videos, digital magazines, to films made by parents or carers of children jumping in puddles and making snow angels. So the varying style and the material reflected the broad range of contributors, so from 1 year old up to 19. And it also reflected how resourceful children and their families were to develop creative activities and to find ways to engage during the lockdown, and how COVID was incorporated into their modes of play in such a varied and exciting way. And when I was pulling out the interpretation, and that was where this part got really exciting from definitely from a museum point of view, is how you took all this content, all these different stories, and you drew out the key themes. For me, it was the 4 key pillars of this exhibition under an umbrella message, which was that play was essential to building children's resilience, well-being, and making meaning out of crises. Pull all their experiences and corral them into 4 key themes, which were constructing, imagining, exploring, and innovating. And then under that, we then had the key messages, and under that you then had the different modes of play, so different ways that children played. So for example, if you took constructing, you had 3 modes of play underneath that, which were dens, arts and crafts, and small world play. And we echoed that treatment across the different structures, and it's very similar to how you would build a physical exhibition. We also gave each section a narrative journey, so it's like a story's arc, and it started with the play theory, grounded in the value of why children play, and that for arts and crafts was one of the examples of fine motor skills. Then the pandemic provocation, like what was the catalyst that may have changed or required something, and for lots of children there were increased levels of anxiety. And then the creative solution was how children used art as a creative distraction, or to voice support, or to explore any kind of fear, or to reflect or record the pandemic. And then the last part of this story's arc was about having something really positive to take away and something inspiring. And that's why we had a whole load of activities and toolkits for children and for their families or for their carers to download. And we wanted visitors to be inspired by what the children were creating, and that they could do that at home for free. So instead of having a research or a dissertation or a research report, what we did is we took the text behind all these images, all these stories, or the reason why people were doing it, the narrative journey, which was about 13,000 words, and we've reframed them into an exhibition, into the structure of an exhibition. And here you have what the framework of this exhibition is. It's 134 labels. Each theme, each mode of play has its different treatment, and you stretch that out across the 4 different sections. This became the wire infrastructure with which the web designer then built the website. So it gives an idea of the amount of text, the kind of structure, the thought process behind how you build an exhibition, but it would be incredibly dull. And what you need is artists, and you need co-design. And we worked with 2 incredible teams. We worked with Episode Studios, who created the UX, created the concept behind the exhibition, and we worked with Marcus Waters, who is an artist who I'll explore his work next. But this is an example of Episode's first initial sketches. When we presented the idea to them, they wanted this online exhibition. They came back with the idea that because so much was grounded within the house, it should be a home that we show, and that's the mechanism by which we would explore the material. We felt this was too literal, so then they came up with the idea of an origami house that unfolded. You had 4 rooms reflecting the 4 themes. They also wanted to make it playful, so it rotated, that how you access the information would be through 3D objects, and that this online exhibition could be printed out and you could enjoy it at home. So this origami can be created and you can print it out from the website. We then brought in Marcus Waters, who is a fantastic illustrator and designer, and he created the illustrative look of the exhibition. He went through several iterations, and we all focused on the kind of cutout 3D design that he created, a very papery feel that reflected the origami unfolding house that Episode had created. We then had Dr. Valerio Signorelli from CASA, who created the prototype. He created the wire infrastructure with which everything sat, and he made sure that everything was as accessible as we could possibly make it, so that the colors, you didn't have glare for those who are neurodivergent, that we used sans serif. We made sure that there was audio description wherever possible, and that we made that the language as accessible as possible, that we were catering for people under 12 years old, and that these were all compliant with the WSA guidelines. And this gives you an idea of some of the visitor UX, that you would open up this house, you'd rotate, you'd have the 4 different rooms reflecting a different theme. Within each room, you'd have 3 different objects that would reflect the 3 different modes of play. And within those, you'd then have the gallery of children's artworks, you'd have the text, but it was done in bite-sized pieces, and it was far more engaging and accessible, and hopefully playful, but without being childish. This is because you could create layers of different information for different users. These are the takeaways, these are the downloads that you could get and download and hopefully enjoy in your own time. The exhibition from start to finish was 6 months, and it was delivered on time and under budget, and we achieved every single one of our objectives, which was to create an interactive exhibition to work with artists and designers, that we would showcase children's artwork and make them give them agency in the exhibition, and that we would then work with Great Ormond Street Hospital's play specialists to create the play activities that people could download. The exhibition is now live, where you can visit it here, and for us it was definitely at Young V&A, it was a really good opportunity to explore many different interactive ways of being, of creating an online exhibition. It offered a platform to reach a whole new audience and to deliver the information to different learning styles. And we hope it will be a really interactive and playful gateway into the research database by UCL and by University of Sheffield, and that this will create a platform for the children's work to create, to have an audience and to record this significant point in history and how they are represented within that history. And I hope you will all visit it. Many thanks.